Welcome everyone, this is Acid Roots and I have something to talk to you about, and that's Diddy / Dirty Money's Last Train to Paris. So with this is kind of a European influenced album that Puff Daddy put together as his supposed last record at the time. If you don't know terribly much about Puff Daddy, he's been here since the early 90s. He formed the record label Bad Boy, and with this it spawned the notorious B.I.G., who is still heralded as one of the greatest rappers that has done it. Now, his influence continued on Puff Daddy, and I think it was in his earlier albums, at least up to the 1999 one. And from there, the directions that he went in, he kind of became somewhat of a pop rapper. And it's not like he lost his edge. It just is more that he widened his audience, just because really this is the sort of influence. It has aspects that reach other regions across the world, which is something that not a ton of rappers have done. I have not seen Lil Wayne do a European styled album, which is kind of almost like a thematic album. And I haven't seen Rick Ross or Wiz Khalifa do it. You know, just folks that have been doing this sort of thing is pretty clever. So Dirty Money is a group, and it has 2 additional singers in it, Don Richard and Kalena Harper. And so a lot of this, it doesn't actually feel like an entire rap album. There are singers on here, and, you know, Usher and Trey Songz are on here, and Chris Brown is on here. You know, there's some folks on this record, couple other cats that showcase to you Drake. You know, these are things that kind of take up a new direction. So to me, the big thing, some of these radio songs have been released. There have been several. And in America, the thing about it that happened with this project is some of these, it just was very scattershot here. And the biggest radio song released on the project is actually one of the few songs that I did not like, and that is Coming Home. Now, there were other ones like Hello, Good Morning with T.I. That one is worthwhile. That's actually one of the best songs on here. And there's just a lot of good ones. Angels with Rick Ross. That felt like more of a promotional song, but it still stands to reason that it's pretty good. I think he was wanting to harness B.I.G. for that. And by this point, I mean, Rick Ross kind of is his own entity. So, you know, this is extra stuff. Really, yeah, most of this, I think you're going to like if you like to get up. Like, if you're kind of focused on going out for the night, but you want to do it, I would say it's kind of somewhere between Kesha, LMFAO, and David Guetta. You know, that sort of thing, just thrown in with less dance and electronica and more European style. So that's kind of the thing that I felt with this. Didn't really have a problem. I'm not going to hold bias and say that the style is not good just because I'm not European. So I enjoyed it. It worked pretty well. Now, the production on this, it's handled, you know, there's a lot of these. I would go for Strobe Lights. I'd go for Angels, Looking for Love, Yesterday. These are all some great ones. So the only songs that I did not like were 4 of them. So 4 out of 15 songs, and the 4 songs were Coming Home, Loving You No More, I Hate That You Love Me, and I Know. Those are about the only ones that I kind of had a problem with. Obviously, one of these is the biggest song on the project, but really, that stands to reason. That's always a good thing when the best songs are not the highest charting one. Now, I am going to list a few of the ones that you need to head for because, 11 out of 15, I wanted to kind of let you guys explore this. So, a few of the ones I liked that you definitely need to know are Hello, Good Morning, Yesterday with Chris Brown, Angels with Rick Ross, Strobe Lights with Lil Wayne, Looking for Love, Your Love with Trey Songz, and Ass on the Floor. All of these are pretty good. I mean, really, listen to it. You should feel right at home. And there's just, you get to see these artists do what they're supposed to do. I didn't really have a problem listening to this. I actually listened to it several days ago, but I just didn't get it up when I actually was listening to it fully. But, I mean, the songs, they're catchy. So that's... just trying to figure out a way to cap this off so you get the full experience of it. Yeah, there really shouldn't be any reason not to like this. I mean, as far as the end, go for those songs that I mentioned as introductory ones. I mean, obviously it's not, the only thing is it's not like a hardcore rap album. Like, this is not the Marshall Mathers LP. This is not Teflon Don. This is not Doggy Style. But I feel like it could be a bullet point considering that this has not been really approached very often. And this is clever. I mean, they also threw in some fashion designers and that sort of thing onto here. So they got into the world, they kind of mixed worlds, which doesn't happen all the time. So you get the fact that Puff Daddy knows some other areas of the world besides music. So I like the idea of that. So obviously this album's getting a 9.5 out of 10, 11 out of 15. I mean, it's virtually a 10, but really, there's just not too much that you can complain about. So, the future, Dirty Money has broken up. Puff Daddy is getting ready to retire. And I think he's getting ready to enter a new chapter, but we'll see what happens. As far as, what I'm trying to tell you is I don't see a sequel to this album happening. But, just pay attention to some of the singers on the project if you want a similar style. There is definitely electronica and dance and Europop music if you're looking for clones and similar albums to this. Maybe I'll review a couple. But the social score, I'm going to give an 8. Just because, to me, the lead single was not the strongest song on the project. And some of the other ones did not catch enough attention. It just feels like it just is missing like a killer vocalist to really anchor the project. Like, if it would have been Usher, I'm not saying anything against these singers, but it just needed that killer vibe to it to make sure that it's hitting number 1, number 2, number 4 constantly. But other than that, I mean, you shouldn't notice. It's around. So the record is definitely around. You just have to remember. Alright, so that's about it. I give this album, I don't think it can be topped. I give this album a 9.5 and an 8 social.